Hello and welcome everyone in this video tutorial for chapter Is Matter Around Us Pure? In this video tutorial we are going to discuss about the separation methods, how we separate things from mixtures. We have learned that mixtures, whether homogeneous or heterogeneous, result from the mixing of pure substances, that is elements and compounds. No chemical reactions occur in the formation of mixtures. Sometimes we are required to separate these substances present in a given mixture. Moreover, in many cases, the naturally occurring substances are impure. They are associated with certain impurities. These have to be removed, and some suitable methods or techniques are needed for the same. In general, the separation of constituents from a mixture depends upon two things, that is the type of mixture, it can be homogeneous or heterogeneous, and the nature of the substance present in the mixture. Okay, so first of all, taking heterogeneous mixtures. Heterogeneous mixtures can be separated using these methods, that is sedimentation, also followed by decantation, then filtration, centrifugation, magnetic separation, sublimation, and separating funnel. Okay, so the first step is sedimentation and decantation. Sedimentation is in suspension. For this method is followed in suspension. The suspension is allowed to remain undisturbed for some time in a beaker or any container. Its particles settle down under the influence of gravity because they are heavy, so they will settle down. The settling of particles is called sedimentation. This settling of particles by themselves under the influence of gravity is known as sedimentation. Once the residue is collected or it is settled at the bottom, the liquid above it is removed, and by the process of removal, or I should say, once the liquid is removed, the leftover is known as decantation. Okay, well, this is something which I don't have to explain much because filtration, you all are aware about it. Those who have made tea, they are aware about it. Those who have filtered milk using strainer, they are well aware about it. So, filtration is technically defined as the process of separating suspended solid matter from a liquid by causing the latter to pass through the pores of a membrane. This called filter. Now, pores of a membrane or filter paper, or when we are using a tea strainer, then it also have some tiny pores from which the milk or the tea pass out, and whatever the impurity in it is left behind. In video lecture, many of you were having issue with this centrifugation. Basically, centrifugation is a technique used for the separation of particles from a solution according to their size, shape, density, volume of the medium, and the rotor speed. All these are combined together. Centrifugation is the process where a mixture is separated through spinning. Look at the video. What the person is doing in the test tube, he has filled whatever the material he want to centrifuge, and he is rotating it. Okay, or I should say he is spinning it. Now, because of spinning, what will happen? The denser component of the mixture moves towards the bottom. Whatsoever which is denser, it will move towards the bottom, while the lighter component will migrate towards the center or will move towards the center. This is the example in the test tube. The centrifugation, what will happen after, if the blood is centrifuged? Plasma is lighter, so it is floating upward. Red blood cells, they are denser, so they are at the bottom of the test tube. Okay, and somewhere in between these white blood cells, because they are neither denser nor lighter, so they are in between it. And this is the same method which is used for separation of skim milk from whole milk, that is cream from milk, water from the clothes. In dryer, what does dryer do? When the dryer moves very fast, it forces the cloth, because cloth is denser or heavy, it is forced to move outward. And when it moves outward, basically it is pressed. The clothes are pressed on the walls of the dryer, and the holes in the dryer allows the water to come out, and hence the complete process of dryer work. Again, this is something which I don't need to explain it to the large, because magnetic separation, you all have played with magnets and you know how magnetic materials attract each other, how they behave, magnetic material behave when they are brought near to a magnet. So I don't need to explain it, but the thing which you have to do by yourself is you have to find the magnetic materials. Assignment is was provided to you, or it is available, that what are the substances which are magnetic material. You know iron, but what are other substances which are magnetic? Find them out. Okay, sublimation is also a process, or I should say sublimation is the method which you have already read in the studied in first chapter. The sublimation simply states that when a solid directly changes into gaseous state without coming in the liquid phase. Okay, uh, what happens is, suppose we are having two mixtures, uh, one mixture of iodine and another of salt and iodine are mixed together. So it is quite difficult for us to separate salt and iodine, because both are miscible in water. Both are miscible in water, so we can't filter them out, or we can't do anything on them. But what we can do is we can simply heat them, because iodine is a volatile substance, or I should say it can sublimate. So the vapors of the iodine will come out of it very fast, and they will get collected on the surface where we are allowed it to condense. Okay, it will get collected on the surface where we are allowing it to condense. So the iodine crystals will be taken out, and the leftover will be the salt. This method is generally used. This method is generally used where both the substances are miscible in water. Okay, because they are miscible in water, so we have to separate them using the method of sublimation. Next method which we have is separating funnel. Now here we are talking about two immiscible liquids. Immiscible means those which cannot dissolve. We are talking about oil and water. Oil never dissolve in water. Oil will always float on water. So the mixture of oil and water forms two separate layers because they are completely insoluble in each other. Oil forms upper layer while water forms lower. In separating funnel, they are capped for resting. When they come to rest, what will happen? The water will come at the bottom and the oil will come at the top. Now just using the lever, or you can say whatever you wish to call it, just opening the valve, I will be able to separate the liquid and in one beaker, and I will close the valve the moment the liquid is finished, or I should say water is finished. Now I can take another beaker and separate the oil out. Separation of constituents from the homogeneous mixture. Now previously we had heterogeneous which are not miscible, they can be separated. Okay, but when we are talking about homogeneous, now we are talking about those which are already mixed. Now those which are mixed, so it is quite difficult for us to separate from them from the solute and solvent. So the method which are used here are simple distillation, or we call it distillation, then fractional distillation, evaporation, separation of gases from air, uh, chromatography. That is the thing which you have is paper chromatography in your syllabus. Okay, and last is crystallization. So the process of distillation exploits the difference in the boiling points of the components in liquid mixture by forcing one of them into the gaseous state. Simple distillation involves heating the liquid mixture to the boiling point and immediately condensing it, and resulting vapors. Basically, what we do is those which are miscible liquids, we take them inside a flask and we start heating them up. Now, the whole concept of distillation is on the fact that there is a difference. There is a difference of minimum 25 degrees Celsius. There is a difference of minimum 25 degrees Celsius in the boiling point of both. Okay, both the liquids which are mixed together. If this temperature is not there, if this 25 degrees Celsius is not there, then this process will not work. Now, suppose you are having two substances, something is mixed in water, and that thing evaporate or start boiling at 75 degrees Celsius, while water will start at 100 degrees Celsius. So, uh, before what even water haven't reached its boiling point, but that material will start boiling, and it will change into vapors. These vapors will be immediately collected and condensed it. Hence we have the two separate liquid available with us. The method is only effective for mixtures wherein the boiling points of liquids are considerably different, a minimum difference of 25 degrees Celsius.
Now the next is fractional distillation. So fractional distillation is often used to separate mixtures of liquid that have similar boiling points. Simple distillation is used where we have a minimum variation of 20 degrees Celsius. But in fractional distillation, uh, very near, we can separate those mixtures also which are having very near, you can say, boiling points. Okay, you have already studied about fractional distillation in your previous class, that is fractional distillation of or refining of petroleum. I hope you remember that. Now, this method involves several vaporization and condensation steps. The only difference between the fractional distillation and simple distillation is this presence of a fraction column. What will happen here
Is when heated, the liquid mixture is converted into vapors that rise into the fractionating column. The vapors now cool and condense on the walls of the condenser. The hot vapors emanating from the distilling flask now heat the condensed vapor, creating new vapors. So basically what is happening, those first on the first heating, in the first image you can see that at 78 degrees Celsius, the first set of vapors reached the condensing column and they collected here. Now when further vapors reached here, they will heat up these condensed vapors. Once again they will be heated. Now they will be forced to move upward. Similarly, this process will be repeated multiple times. That's why in the second point it is written that involves several vaporization condensation steps which take place in the fractionating column. First vapors will be condensed here, then the coming vapors will heat them up again and make them into vapors, and they will force them to move upward. In this way they will move upward and upward and upward and upward, and there will be a time when they will be taken out and condensed and separated. Many such vaporization condensation cycles take place, and the purity of the distillate improves with every cycle. This is the same method which is used for separation of petroleum gases, or you can say all the components inside the crude oil. Well, this is the most easiest of the all separation processes. Evaporation is a technique used to separate out homogeneous mixture where there is dissolved salt. Uh, Suppose any salt is dissolved in water, and now you want to separate it. better than salt. If I say, suppose there is a dye, if you want a dye out of water, so what will you do? You will simply vaporize the water. You will heat the water in such a way that water will be evaporated, and the leftover dye or the salt, whatever it is there, it will be available for you in the that vessel in which you are heating it. The method drives of the liquid components from the solid components. The process typically involves heating the mixture until no more liquid remains in it. Separation of gases from air. It is also a process which is followed by the method of fractional distillation, but in this process we are not using the heat. Rather, what we'll be using here is the cold temperature to separate things. That is, we will be dealing with minus 200 and minus 190 degrees Celsius and minus 185 degrees Celsius. Okay, so basically what happens here is, just look at the diagram. First thing first, what happens here is, whole of the air is taken out from the atmosphere. Air is absorbed, this air is filtered, and after filtration a very high pressure is applied on it. Now, because of the high pressure, application of high pressure, the gas will get heated up. Now this heated gas is cooled, okay, is super cooled, and with the help of water, and this super compressed or super cooled air is now compressed or allowed in to expand in a liquefied manner inside a chamber. Now these gases will get separated because they are in liquid form. They will get separated uh, in the fractionating column by themselves because of their boiling points. Okay, boiling point of nitrogen is 196 degrees Celsius, while boiling point of oxygen is minus 183 degrees Celsius. So at 183 degrees Celsius, the oxygen which is in liquid will start changing into gaseous state. I'm repeating again, at minus 183 degrees Celsius, the oxygen which is in liquid state will start converting into gaseous state. So at this time I can separate this gas out. Similarly, nitrogen is having 196 degrees Celsius, which is more below oxygen. Okay, so this is the way how we will be able to separate these things. Chromatography. Chromatography is a technique of separating two or more dissolved solids, dyes or colors which are present in a solution in very small quantities. This separation is based on the fact that through two or more substances are soluble in same solvent, but their solubilities, the ability of substance to dissolve, may be different. For example, we took three colors, that is yellow, green, and blue. We mixed them. So after mixing them, a new color was formed. Now we want to separate these because we have taken only one drop. Now I want to separate know the constituents of inside that color. So what we'll be using is, I will be using chromatography. What I will do is, I will simply use a chromatography paper. In that chromatography paper I will mark a line and dip it inside, just dip it inside, touch it with the water, and we will leave a I can say that dye color or the color of ink on in the middle point. Now what will happen, as the bottle will rise up, these dye color will start moving towards the mobile phases. Okay, so as they will move up, these dyes will get separated by themselves, and we will be able to see the chromatography happening. The last process which is available in your book is crystallization. Well, this is a process of formation of crystals. So basically what happened is, uh, some salt was dissolved in water, and now I want to separate it. But if I know that if I will start heating it, the water will get evaporated, but the salt will also burn out. So definitely this is not a way I can treat it. So what we do is, generally we use the method of crystallization. In this technique, the solvent molecule start evaporating. be leaving behind the solutes when the solute is heated in an open container. Okay, look at the crystals which are formed. The crystals which you have already seen at your home are sugar crystals. Sugar crystals are also obtained in the same manner from the sugarcane juice.